Here is a quick test that you can do to make sure that you are using the appropriate size weight for your goals. So depending on what your goals are, whether you want to bulk up, lean up, lose weight, or just become stronger and healthier, the number of reps that you should do and the amount of weight that you use is personal to you. So if you're going into an exercise class and picking up an arbitrary weight and just doing as many reps as you can, or if you're feeling the burn, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to get the body that you're looking for. So in order to develop lean, metabolically active muscle mass that is long and lean and not bulky, you need to work with a weight that's heavy enough that it forces you to recruit more muscle fibers, so those muscle fibers split in order to get stronger instead of creating more larger muscle cells. So there's a variety of ranges, and I talked about that in my last video. But just as a rule of thumb, if you can perform this test with any movement and you can do more than 10 of this test, you are not working with a heavy weight. Now, before I show you this test, I do want to qualify that even at Forever Strong, the clients I work with, I often start them with weights that are lighter, because until you absolutely know that your form is proper and you've learned the high tension techniques that make lifting weights safe, then you have no choice but to go lighter. So at least you're starting to improve your muscle composition and get stronger, but you must pursue that skill of strength in order to be able to lift heavy. So here's a test. For my intermediate clients, if you can perform what's called repetition max test for any specific movement. So we're going to take the squat, for instance. So I'm going to look at my weights that are here in front of me, and I'm going to try to figure out which weight, if I did squats with them, like a goblet squat, and I'm trying to get into the 6 to 8 range of a rep max test, if I could do 8, it's too light. If I can't do 6 even though, it's too heavy. So it's about finding the weight in a repetition max test. So what would that look like? So maybe I would start very heavy because it's easier to back down and go lighter than it is to try to get heavier. So maybe I would start with a heavy weight and I would try to test how many I can do in perfect form, coming to a complete stop, and 1, right? And then if I can do 6 of these or 7, but I can't do 8 yet, that's about the right size weight. Now if you hear, this is what heavy weightlifting sounds like. When you get to those last few reps, your form is still good, but it's slow. I didn't count that, but I'm pretty sure that's my 6 to 8 rep range. Do you hear my cardiovascular response? If I was just using a lightweight, bouncing up and down, getting 15 out, I would feel the burn, but I wouldn't get this fat burn result that you hear. So it's a repetition max test. You should do it on all of your major movements. If you're doing deadlifts, if you're doing squats, if you're doing overhead presses, all compound movements should be rep max tested. So you know you're working with the right size weight, and then after you've performed those movements consistently for a period of time, you should retest and see how much stronger you've gotten and what your new qualifying weight is. All right, so the key to knowing what size weight to use if you want to lift heavy is to perform a rep max test. 6 to 8 is just, it's a starting point. There are other ranges, but if you're getting this kind of response, lifting something 6 times, you are definitely on your way to a lean, metabolically active, powerful body.